Picking up where we left off in the part 1 video, we've got to review regular expressions, and we're going to use grep to do that. So grep will search in a file. So grep's going to search in a file. We're going to use regular expressions to search for certain things in the file. So let's start with the word devask. So we'll do grep. Oh, thought it was already clicked. I keep trying to move my cursor so it's out of the way, and then I mess myself up. Grep devask. And we're going to search for that word in the password file. etc/pass wd. So we're going to search for the word devask in the password file. It displays the lines that have that full word in it. Also notice that it is case sensitive, so be aware that it is case sensitive. If instead, let's go back. Let's hit. I just hit the up arrow. Sorry. Sometimes I forget to tell you what I'm doing. And let's do. All right. You'll notice we didn't get anything because it is case sensitive. I gotta get my caps lock on. So next thing is let's search for root in the password file. So grep space root, and then the directory getting to the file. So etc/pass wd, and it has the line, or it displays the line that shows where root is. So all the areas, or all the instances of the word root. So now what we want to do is we want to use our caret symbol to find the word root, but find it only at the beginning of a line. So it's only going to display if it's at the beginning of a line. So grep space, and then caret, caret, move that again. Our caret, where's my caret? I lost my caret symbol. Okay, seriously. Sometimes you just have a brain stoppage, right? Root, and our single parenthesis, and then etc/ I'm sorry, I'm getting quiet. etc/pass /pass wd. Whoops, I see what I did. Notice what I did? See, typos, I've caught them so far, but you got a double parenthesis and a single parenthesis. We got to get out of that. There we go. I should just. So let's try this again. Grep space single caret root single, and then our password. So we're gonna search the password file again for root, but only instances where root is at the beginning of the line. Or I should say it's only going to highlight instances where it's at the beginning of the line. You notice it's in other spots, but what it's looking for is the beginning of the line and that word. What it's searching for. Now, let's use the anchor character $sign to find the word at the end of the line. So if we do grep, and then the word false, $sign. Now we're going to find, or it's going to find and display lines with the word false as the last word. And so we hit enter, and we can see these are all the lines that have the word false as the last word. Now what we want to do is we're going to use the period or dot command to match a particular length in the word with different letters in them. So this example, they use D as the first letter, M as the last letter, with 2 characters in between. So grep D ... M, and then our etc password. So now it's going to find words that start with D, have 2 characters in them, 1 for each dot, end with M. And it's going to find those within the password file. So hit enter, and we can see we have dame, that's in the word Damon, so it finds it, right? Starts with D, has 2 characters in the middle, has an M at the end. Also found DNSM, so we have D as it starts with, N as 1 character, S as 1 character, and M is another character. So far we've used regular expressions to find a particular word anywhere, right? Anywhere within the password file. Then we used it to find a word, specifically root, in the first line within the password. So it finds it within the password file, but the word root has to be at the beginning of the line. It has to be the first word, not the first line, sorry. I realized what I said now. That's why I love seeing people's faces when I talk to them. But anyway, so then we used grep to search the password file to find instances where root was the first word in the line. Then we used grep to search the password file to find instances where the word false was the last word in the line. And then we used it to match a particular length or a number of characters and letters. So we started the word with D. The word is allowed to, it has to start with the letter D. It can have any two letters as the next two letters, and then ends with M. And so it found all those. Now we'll go ahead and we'll find lines that have 8 and 9 or both in them. So if we do grep, and then we use our braces, so we do brace 8 to 9, and since there's nothing in between, it's either 8 or 9 basically. Right, and then our closing brace, and then again our /password file. And we see it with any line that has 8 or 9 in it, or both. So we find 8 or 9 everywhere, and then here's both. So that's another way to do it. And then next we want to look at absolute or literal characters. So, or I should say literal characters, the exact character. So we're going to look for every line that has a comma. So it's going to return lines that have a comma in them. We could do grep space single, and then our brace, and our comma, and our end brace, or end single, and /etc/password. And hit enter, we see all the lines within the password file that have commas in them. Whoops, both times I didn't highlight the commas. There we go, all the lines that have commas in them. I'm going to do a couple more here. So earlier when we did 8 and 9, the 8-9 could actually be anything in that range. So if I use 0-9, that means it's going to have anything that has a digit, any digit in it, 0 to 9. You know, if I did the character first, then the first digit would be, or the first character would be a digit. And then I can also do it with letters. So remember, I think we just did the dots. So let's do a range with the letters. So we're gonna begin with a letter. So we've done the literal. We've done 8 and 9, and if this was longer, like 7-9, it's gonna find 7, 8, and 9. Suppose I could do that. Let's hit the up arrow. Let's just do that. Whoops. Let's stop scrolling and actually click on it. So let's change this to a 7. I don't know. I shouldn't say this because I don't know if there's a 7 anywhere in here. Okay, there is. Thank goodness. I didn't really look at any of them. You guessed there should be a 7, but I don't remember. So now it's finding 7, 8, and 9. If I hit the up arrow, right, and I do 5 to 9, then it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so on. I can also do this with letters. So, and I can do it with letters, and I can do it with our various symbols. So if I do, let's see, D to P. And then I put a $sign at the end. When I move this to the end so it's out of your way, and I move my cursor out of your way, and I hit enter. Now we find all of the words. Okay, that was a mess of something. I'm winging it here. I mean, I just want to show that you could use the carets, the $signs, numbers and letters, the dot. But here we have all letters D through P. So any line that ends with any letter D through P is what it searched for. So H, N, N, and notice it's the last letter in the line. It displayed the last letter in the line. So in this instance, what we did is we searched it, well, not we, Grep searched it searched the password file, looked at every line, and any line that ended with any letter between D and P, including D and P, it displayed in our output. I hope that makes sense. So just taking that a little bit further, we can do the same thing with the beginning. So if I get rid of the $, and I do a character, and I hit enter. Now, right, it's finding every line with those letters at the beginning. And then again, we can do the same thing with numbers. So instead, I'm not going to do it, but instead we could put numbers in here as well. So I think I've beaten the grep command up there, or really what we're looking at, or what the purpose of this was to review regular expressions. And I think we've done that. So now let's move on to some system administration stuff. Now to move on to the system administration stuff, I also want to move on to this way I said I was going to go through this, which was to give you the command first and then give you its usage. So some of the commands we're going to use in the system administration portion will be the date, where we can check the date on the system. We'll use the IP address command, which will allow us to display and change or configure IP address information. We use the Ifconfig command, which displays and allows us to configure network interfaces. Ping will send an ICMP echo request. The PS command displays the processes, and we'll use different options with that. So when I talk about a command and I say it displays processes, there are options, right? Just like with the ls command that displays different things in the processes. Current processes in the terminal, current on the whole computer, and so on. We use the sudo command. And we use that command, as I talked about earlier, to run the command as root. So when I do sudo space and a command, sudo is super user do, which is root. So if I don't have the permission, or it tells me that I can't do it, I may need to switch to sudo, so I would do sudo space and then the command. We'll use the apt-get upgrade command to update all the packages on our system. We'll use the apt-get update command to update the package lists. So let's not confuse them, upgrade versus update. We'll use apt-get install to install a specific package. We'll use we'll use apt-cache to search the software package cache. So it'll search the apt cache. We'll use apt-get purge to remove a package. And then lastly, I think we'll look at the password file we'll look at the password command as well, but I don't want to change my password, so I'm kind of just going to show it to you. And then lastly, we use the shutdown command to shut down our system. We can use it to shut down, halt, or reboot our system. We'll use it a couple different ways to show you, but specifically we're going to end with shutdown, because then we're done with this portion. So I'm going to bring the terminal window back over, and let's go ahead and use these commands. First, we're going to view and test our network configuration. We'll use the IP address command first. And we can see our different interfaces, their IP address information. Let's see. So our address for our ENP0S3 interface, as it's shown here, is 10.0.2.15 with a 24-bit subnet mask. So that's how we're going to display that. We can use Ifconfig. And we'll see the information as well, a little bit shortened. So you'll notice that in our IP address command, if I hit the up arrow, a bit longer, right? We're showing some different variations there, whatever. We're showing additional addresses and additional information. And I use my Ifconfig command. We only see that one. We only see that main one there. Our net mask is 32 bits. So this is the one we're using kind of to get out to the world. It's our 10.0.2.15. If we do a man IP address, we can see that the command is used for protocol address management. We have a ton of options to set. We'll go through that if you want to play around with it a little bit. Hit Q to get out. Our Ifconfig again. If we do an Ifconfig-A, wait, let's do Ifconfig first. Whoops, I can't spell. Ifconfig. right? And now we'll do ifconfig-a. Oh, that's right, we don't have any. So the thing with ifconfig-a is that, so ifconfigure is going to show all of our active interfaces. ifconfig is going to show all of our interfaces, including interfaces that are down. So if we use the -a, we're also going to see interfaces that are down. We can use ifconfig. Well, I'm not going to fully do this, I'm just going to show it to you. I can use ifconfig to change my addressing. So if I do ifconfig and then the interface, whoops, and then the IP address, and then the keyword netmask, and then I suppose I could do it and just change it back, couldn't I? It's not like it would be that terrible. I'm going to lose connectivity for a second. Oh, I know why. I didn't have the permissions, right? Because these folks are smart enough. When you build a Linux machine, as I'm sure many of you know, you want the default user be something other than root. We don't want everybody being able to change our system configurations. So now, except for I don't want to lose this address. I can remember what that was. Let me write that down because I just don't remember. Because we're going to need that to verify our connectivity. So now, if I do an ifconfig, Renee type. See, my address was changed to 192.168.1.1 on this interface. Now we need to change it back because I actually need it to be the 10 address. So I'm going to hit the up arrow twice and change this back to the address it originally was. Just 10.0.2. 10.0.2.15. Change it back and double check that it's correct. And it is. I needed that for the next step because the next step is to use ping. So we're going to use ping with the options -C4, which is going to ping the computer 4 times. So we're going to ping 4. We're going to ping 192. This I promise will work in your live. I'm literally doing this live, you guys. Or not live, but I'm not stopping necessarily to test it in between. So if it doesn't work, it's because I broke it in my previous step, but it will definitely work in your lab. 192.168.1.1. Oh, I did break it. Whoops. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix it. We'll come back because you don't need to see that. All right, let's get back on track and try this again. Maybe it would have been a good idea to troubleshoot with you, but I think sometimes I can just be more confusing. What we need is the fundamentals here, and we just need a review. So I did break it. That's okay, though. It's all good now. Now let's go ahead and ping our 192.168 4 times. 192.168.1.1. And we can also ping domain names. So we'll ping cisco.com. And we can see that that works as well. So we used so as the start of our system administration section, we verified our network configuration. I changed an address which broke some things, but in your world, when you are dealing with your configuration and your container space, you'll probably be fine. And you don't need to change it for the lab for sure, so we just want to get the basics in there. And then we went ahead, we pinged 192.168.1.1, and then we pinged our domain name, cisco.com. Now we're going to go ahead and look at our processes. First thing we want to do is display the display the process running in the terminals. With just the ps command, we'll display our processes running in our terminal. And then we want to display the processes, all of them that are running on the computer. We'll do the ps-e. Now we'll pipe to more. Let me move that. Pipe to more. Let me move that away. We'll use the same command and pipe to more to give us it 1 page at a time or 1 screen at a time. So notice in the previous, we just scrolled all the way through to the end. Now we stop at 1 screen if I want to, so I can kind of look through them if I want to. And if I hit a space bar, it'll go all the way through to the next screen. If you hit enter, it'll go 1 line at a time. So enter, space bar, so on. I'm going to hit Q to leave that. So we did ps-e to see all of the processes. We piped them to more to see them 1 screen at a time. If you use the spacebar, it'll go to the next screen. If you use an enter, it'll go to the next line. Hit Q to get out of there. Now what we want to do is look at, like, you know how ls-l is the long listing of a directory? And now if we add, if we use the EF option, we'll display all the processes that are running the computer with some more detail. So adding the F is going to give us a little more detail than what we see right here. So ps-ef. And now you can see we've got a bunch of different pieces of information. Let me hit the up arrow here. And then I'm going to pipe to more again for this one. And the reason why is I wanted you to see the headings of each of these columns. So the first one's the user ID. The next one's the process ID. And then we have the parent process ID. C is our CPU, our utilization. S time is the start time or date of the process. TTY is the type of terminal that the command is running in. And we have the command itself. And if you didn't know this information, what could you use to find it out? If we do the man space ps command, we can go through one, right? We get our different options. But then we also, we also get to see what it's going to display for us. That's usually towards the end. Here we go. Right, so when I said, let's find the first one. EUID, the effective user ID, the alias is UID. So when we see UID, and I said it was the user ID, that's what it is. We'll find that information here. Let's do one more. Come on. There we go. PID, the number representing the process ID. Should be PP. There we go. PPID is the parent process ID, and so on. So all the things I just said, you could find out yourself, no problem, using the man command. Hit Q to get out of there. Now we got to look at managing packages. So we looked at processes. What have we done so far? We looked at the network information using IP address, Ifconfig. We use ping to verify our connectivity. We ping to an address, ping to a domain name. Now we're going to look at the managing packages section. And the first one we're going to use is the apt-get update to refresh the list of packages in the operating system. And then we're going to search the app cache. We're going to try to find the speed test application. We're going to try to search for speed test. We're going to find the speed test application that we want to install. We're going to install it. And then we're going to upgrade our system. So let's start with the update command. Sudo apt-get update to refresh the list of our available packages. Now we want to search for speed test. We're going to search the apt cache for speed test. Find it. We want to install it. After this, apt cache search speed test and speed test-cli. Now due to this is what they have you go through. They have you go through this process here. We're actually going to change it up a little bit. In April, I think this was updated. Speed test was updated. The speed test-cli was updated by the company that deals with it. So we're going to change our commands just a little bit here. And we're going to switch it up, and I'll make sure that we're going to follow their instructions, the developer's instructions, and I'll post that. So curl, so you get results if you want the results, https install.net/app/cli install.deb. This is just a typo waiting to happen. Sudo bash. Well, I didn't error out right away, so hopefully that means I did not have a typo. Should mean that. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do the sudo apt-get install. We're just going to install speed test instead of speed test-cli. Wait for that. It looks like we didn't get any errors, so let's see if we can go ahead and run it. Typing speed test. Yay! And we type yes to accept it, and now we go ahead and run our speed test successfully, hopefully. So a little change up there. I'll make sure that I post that long URL / command that we need right before we install speed test, and the fact that we're going to exclude the CLI. I have in this video. I'll talk about it again when we meet via WebEx, and I'll make sure I post it. So now you're getting results. Let's go ahead and move on. The funny thing is we did all that extra work to get results, because I think getting results is important, but in the end we're going to end up using the purge command to remove it. Now we're going to update all of the packages and dependencies in this computer. I'm going to start the process. I'm going to let it run for a few moments. Then I'm going to pause the video. You don't need to watch the whole thing. I mean, just know that it's going to happen because it takes a while. Of course, mine might be updated. If mine's already updated, I can't remember if I updated already. If mine's already updated, it will be quick, but yours will take a long time if you haven't updated it. So let's use the apt-get upgrade command to update all our packages and dependencies in this computer, or specifically on our virtual machine. So sudo apt-get upgrade is going to update all of our packages and dependencies, and hit enter. Shoot. So mine was all updated. I should have not updated it. So I feel bad that I just doing. Anyway, yours will take a while. The correct command to do this is sudo apt-get upgrade, and mine checked for everything. It was just that everything was updated really that I needed, so it didn't take a while. But that will work. Now what we want to do is, if we want to remove a package, we use the purge command. So now we're going to remove our speed test package. So sudo apt-get purge speed test. Remember, we installed speed test rather than speed test -CLI. So if I do a speed test -CLI, well, if I could spell sudo, that would help. Right? It tells you that it's not installed because we had to adjust the instructions for the lab a little bit, and we installed, it was just called speed test. Same company, same function. So now what I did is I hit the up arrow to give us the purge command, remove the CLI portion of it, hit enter. Now it asks if we want to remove it. Yes, we do. Or if we want to continue. We type in a capital Y and we continue, and it removes it. So our next step is that we can change our passwords, update our passwords. I'm not actually going to change mine, but the command to do that is passwd. If I hit enter here, it's going to say changing password for DevAsk, because that's the user that we're in right now. It'll ask for the current password and the new password. It'll ask you to retype the new password, and then it will tell you it was updated successfully if you retyped it correctly. The next step is to use the -S option. So if we do man password, let's find out what the -S option information is. So we do a man password, and then we scroll down. We find -S, which is going to give us our status. It displays the account status information. And we see that we have, so we can look through the fields, right? So the first field is the user's login name. The second field indicates that the user account has a locked password with an L, has no password with NP, or has a usable password with P. The third field gives the date of the last password change. The next four are minimum age, maximum age, warning period, and inactivity period. So that should help you answer some of the questions in the lab, or think through them. I guess you're not submitting them, so you don't have to worry about that, but you want to think through them, so go through this. So we're going to use -S. Here are its options and what they mean. Let's go ahead and hit Q and do a password -S. Whoops, sorry. I actually typed password. Oh, -S. There we go. Alright, so our P indicates that it's a usable password. The minimum number of days that have to pass before the password can be changed is 0. And this 1 here indicates that the password will never expire for inactivity. So that's some of our password information. Now we're almost done, folks. We're almost there. We have got to shut down. So we have a couple options. We can do a shutdown. We're going to use the shutdown command to shut down, right? We can do a shutdown space now, which means it's going to shut down right now. I'm not going to hit enter yet. We can do a shutdown and specify time. So some of the options for the shutdown command are now, a particular hour and minute, so a particular time of the day, and number of minutes to delay. So it's like, okay, I can do it right now. I can do it, at any time of the day. So I can do it at 5 p.m. or 3 p.m. or whatever. Or I could say technically almost now, I should say number of minutes from now. Right? So it would be like you do now, or you do hour, minute, which gives a particular time, or you say plus and a number, which is the number of minutes from the current time. So if I do shutdown plus 1, then it means shutdown from 1 minute from this current time. I can also add a message. The one in your lab is come back soon. We could do shutting down. I remember in the old Unix world, shutting down in 1 minute. Actually, I think they always used to do seconds, so it'd be like common one I'm used to using, 60 seconds, which is technically a minute. So you could actually let people know, okay, shutdown -1, and then say shutting down in 60 seconds. And it will actually display that. Let's do the come back soon that's in your lab. And we can hit enter. And you can see that we're scheduled for a shutdown in 1 minute. We want to cancel that with the shutdown. Wow, hopefully I type it fast enough. -C to cancel our shutdown. And now we're done. So we want to do a shutdown of right now, and we're going to finish up this video. So shutdown space now, and we can actually hit enter, and there it goes. It's being shut down. We are done, folks. This lab is a relatively long one, but I think it's a pretty good review. Just a couple changes we needed to make, and I'll make sure that I post them if you're going to finish it all up. And that's it.